Welcome to the ooky, spooky, kooky, and creepy episode about capitalism and Halloween.
If you're straight, you're not going to get that book. Halloween, she's back.
From the dead.
Thought to have been inspired by a number of pre-Christian festivals, including the Gallic Feast of Samhain. Halloween is basically gay Christmas now. And yes, while Halloween is notably where one eats subpar chocolate and really is only there for the heralding of Mariah Carey coming tonight, it is also an event known for its fashion. You know where this is going. Last year, I did something I am not very proud of. I bought this. Let me explain. The family was doing a haul from a website known for its cheap buys, unlimited inventory, and timely delivery. So in my desperation to put together a costume that would maybe turn a few heads at the very gay, I caved and requested this be added to the family cart, now being checked out of one Shein.com. I know, the dark lord of fast fashion themselves. Now, did the look kill? Ate and left no crumbs, if I do say so myself. But I had heard the occasional whisper here and there about how sites like Shein were utterly horrible, so I decided to do some digging. Shein, Temu, and other similar sites have been dubbed as ultra-fast fashion. The term highlights the ability to produce clothes and accessories that are designed, mailed, sold, and discarded in a matter of days. This represents what you could call the third wave of fast fashion, with the first being brick-and-mortar stores and the second led by digital-first stores. And while one could certainly argue that fast fashion provides runway-ready outfits at a decimal of a fraction of the high street price, what exactly is the long-term cost of that? Fast fashion is fueling a culture that inflates pollution, waste, and emissions tied to the industry, carrying on a steady upward trend that has been climbing since the Industrial Revolution. You know, the last time I had any fashion sense. Trends change at breakneck speed, and with that comes a drive for overconsumption. In fact, it's estimated that a truckload of textiles is dumped or incinerated every single second, while people now buy 60% more clothes, but are in fact wearing them for only half as long. Our fashion world has, in the words of Izzy Ramirez, normalized the culture of constantly buying new clothes without thinking twice about the consequences to other people, animals, or the planet at large. The two elephants in the room are what these clothes are made of and where they end up when they're thrown away. Most of these clothes are made using cheap material. These include polyester, which is a synthetic fiber which is made from petroleum, which is, say it with me, a non-renewable fossil fuel. Which segues nicely into, did you know the fashion industry accounts for 10% of annual global carbon emissions? With regards to discarded clothes, these get shipped out of economic areas like the US and the EU to countries in Asia and Africa. A 2023 report in Harvard Business School's Working Knowledge showed that Shein allegedly added up to 10,000 new items to its inventory every single day, while Temu had racked up over 100,000 integrated producers of items compared to Shein's 6,000. And how does one keep up with such an inexplicable large turnover? Aside from using cheap materials, you also cut corners, which result in human rights violations. You get away with paying your workers well below the minimum wage, and in some cases appropriate the work of artists without credit or remuneration. Fast fashion is accessible and tends to cater to a wider variety of sizes and body types. However, it is important to remember that the biggest consumers of fast fashion are the upper middle and upper class, benefiting from quick turnovers and affordable costs for their clothing haul. Looking back, I had spent nearly 2 hours painstakingly wiring leaves all around the horns to spruce them up a bit. I could have just as easily grabbed some fallen branches in place of the plastic horns, strapped them to a headband, and it would have taken just as much time and honestly would probably have looked cooler. But I didn't do that. And now I have a pair of plastic horns, which, unlike tree branches, will take hundreds if not thousands of years to degrade, and even then will have detrimental effects on the environment long after I am gone. That is something I have to live with. But it's also something I can learn from. Fashion is important. It's a means of expressing oneself and creative outlet. It could be tied deeply to culture, personal history, or even religious ritual, but it doesn't have to be detrimental. Remember the 5 R's of recycling from episode 1. Consider shopping secondhand or thrifting. Find yourself a good tailoring service. And if you need some inspo, there are some great content creators paving the way out there. Have a happy and sustainable Halloween. Brace yourselves for the coming of Mariah Carey's Christmas album. And if you are going to do the Monster Mash this Halloween, oh my god, you guys, use protection.
He did the Monster Mash.